In a quiet town, an ordinary day turns into chaos when an inexplicable phenomenon alters reality. It begins in a simple house where a mother and her 6-year-old daughter live. The mother, going about her routine, stands by the sink to wash dishes. As she reaches out, the sink suddenly turns pitch black, as if scorched by fire. She pauses, bewildered, trying to make sense of what she's seeing. In just a second, she turns to survey the room and is stunned. Her once cozy home is now completely charred and lifeless, as though a devastating fire had swept through it. Panic rises in her chest as she calls out desperately for her daughter, who had been in the house just moments before. But the little girl is nowhere to be found. Her fear mounting, the mother races to her daughter's bedroom, only to find something even more shocking. Her 6-year-old child is now a toddler again, barely 3 years old. The room itself appears as it did 3 years prior, with old toys and decorations that had long since been replaced. Unable to grasp what's happening, the mother scoops up her daughter and rushes outside. There, she finds her neighbors gathering in confusion and fear. The entire apartment building looks as if it has been engulfed in flames, yet there are no actual fires to be seen. The town is shrouded in a surreal haze, as though reality itself has shifted. Amid the chaos, the truth becomes clear. The town has somehow been thrust back in time by 3 years. A fire that ravaged the area 3 years ago seems to be repeating itself, but not in a conventional sense. Instead, it's as if a glitch in the fabric of space and time has brought the past crashing into the present, putting the lives of thousands at risk. Suddenly, the building flickers, as if reality itself is glitching, and within seconds, everything appears to return to normal. The woman looks around in astonishment, realizing that her daughter has reverted to her 6-year-old self. The charred remnants of the house are gone, replaced by its usual familiar surroundings. Outside, the townspeople are equally baffled, trying to make sense of what they've just experienced. Wasting no time, they contact the authorities and report the strange incident. The story shifts to Olivia, a seasoned member of a highly specialized government task force. Her team is dedicated to investigating extraordinary scientific anomalies, the kind that defy logic and threaten stability. When news of the bizarre occurrences in the town reaches her, Olivia and her team quickly mobilize to uncover the truth. As the investigation unfolds, Olivia discovers that the entire household had not traveled back 3 years in time. Only certain parts of it had been affected. The charred sections of the house were remnants of a fire from 3 years ago, inexplicably brought into the present. The rest of the house remained untouched, as if nothing had happened. The woman recounts the terrifying moment when her daughter's age regressed to 3 years old, only to return to her current age once the glitch ended. Olivia, analyzing the evidence, explains to her team that this isn't an isolated incident. Over the past week, similar phenomena have been reported throughout the town. In each case, fragments of buildings and objects, and even people, are briefly transported back in time before returning to normal. Olivia begins to suspect foul play, theorizing that someone is conducting illegal scientific experiments in the area, experiments powerful enough to destabilize the fabric of space-time and cause these temporal disruptions. The team begins by measuring the radiation levels in the area, as each space-time glitch seems to release a distinct trace of radiation. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, a group of friends drives through a forest late at night. Suddenly, a moving train appears out of nowhere, crossing their path. They slam on the brakes just in time to avoid a collision. Shaken, they get out of the car and watch in disbelief as the train continues moving, only to vanish moments later. Stunned by what they've just witnessed, they call the police to report the bizarre event. Back at the Fringe team's headquarters, Olivia and Peter prepare to investigate the unfolding anomalies. Peter is particularly suspicious, convinced that something is seriously wrong with space-time in this town. Just as Peter gears up to leave, he suddenly finds himself at a completely different location, the very site where police officers are actively investigating the train incident. Confused, he realizes he has somehow traveled hours ahead in time without any warning. At the scene, Olivia interrogates one of the friends from the car. He recounts the surreal moment when the train appeared, surrounded by what looked like a shimmering bubble. Stranger still, the train tracks in question had been decommissioned 3 years ago, and no train had run on them since. Peter takes note of the radiation levels at the site and observes that the car's front end, which came closest to the bubble, seems to have been weakened by the temporal distortion. Upon closer inspection, the damaged part crumbles at the slightest touch, revealing how fragile it has become. As Peter processes the findings, he turns to share his observations with Olivia and the rest of the team. But before he can, reality shifts again. In an instant, he finds himself back in a car with Olivia, en route to the same accident site. It dawns on him that the earlier event, his sudden arrival at the scene, was caused by another time glitch that had thrown him forward in the timeline. Now, as the time stream corrects itself, Peter is back in his proper place in the present, heading toward the site for the first time. Peter is convinced that the strange occurrences plaguing the town are the result of an experiment taking place nearby. He explains his theory to Olivia, Olivia, pointing out that every time a temporal glitch happens, there's a noticeable spike in radioactivity. This pattern strongly suggests that the disruptions are being caused by human-made technology. Moreover, the frequency of these glitches is increasing, spreading chaos throughout the town. Peter is certain they are closing in on the truth behind these anomalies. The scene shifts to Professor Kate, a brilliant scientist who has been working on the concept of time travel for the past decade. For years, she has poured herself into perfecting a formula that would allow her to move through time at will. She knows she is on the brink of a breakthrough. In her lab, she meticulously adjusts her equipment while her husband, Raymond, watches her from a distance, glancing at the timer on his watch. After a moment, Raymond approaches Kate, kisses her tenderly, and whispers goodbye. Just as he steps back, Kate suddenly vanishes, and the room around her transforms entirely. It's as though time itself has shifted. Unlike most people, Raymond isn't shocked. He seems to know exactly what is happening. Calmly, he walks into another room where he finds Kate sitting, confused and disoriented. He sets a plate of food in front of her. Kate stares at him blankly, unable to recognize her own husband. It's then revealed that Kate is suffering from Alzheimer's disease, her once brilliant mind now clouded by the condition. The version of Kate who had just disappeared was from 3 years in the past. This revelation uncovers the truth behind the temporal anomalies afflicting the town. They are the result of Kate's unfinished time travel formula. 3 years earlier, Kate had been on the verge of completing her groundbreaking work, but her illness had progressed rapidly, halting her efforts. Raymond, deeply in love with his wife and desperate to restore her to her former self, had discovered her old notes 2 years ago. Determined to bring her dream to life, he spent a year refining her formula and successfully built a functioning time machine. The machine could transport their house 3 years into the past for exactly 47 minutes before it returned to the present day. Now, in the present year of 2022, Raymond has been using the time machine in secret. Raymond uses his time machine to keep his house locked in the year 2018, a time when his wife Kate was healthy and in her prime. This manipulation of time is revealed to be the root cause of the strange temporal phenomena plaguing the town. Each time Raymond transports his house 3 years into the past, the machine generates bursts of radiation, creating a temporal rift. This rift disrupts the space-time continuum, causing glitches throughout the town and creating a 3-year time gap in various places. Meanwhile, Peter and Olivia intensify their investigation, determined to uncover the source of the anomalies. They analyze the locations where temporal glitches have occurred and plot them on a map. The data reveals a pattern. The radiation waves are emanating from a central point, suggesting that the time shift originates there. Convinced they are close to discovering the truth, the team focuses their efforts on this epicenter. At the same time, Raymond tends to his wife, caring for her even though her Alzheimer's prevents her from recognizing him. After ensuring she is comfortable, he descends into the basement where his time machine is hidden. Preparing for another journey into the past, he powers up the machine, setting the timer for the next 47 minutes. During this brief window, the house will once again shift back to 2018. Raymond returns upstairs, where the past version of Kate is deeply engrossed in refining her time travel formula. He watches her quietly, captivated by the moments of brilliance that defined her before the illness took hold. Each time he uses the machine, Raymond witnesses Kate at the same pivotal point in her work, a bittersweet reminder of what they've lost. Meanwhile, the Fringe team arrives at the area they've identified as the source of the disturbances. They begin investigating homes, questioning residents about unusual occurrences. As they approach Raymond's house, a police officer attempts to step inside. The moment his body crosses the threshold, he is violently disintegrated into particles. The horrific scene unfolds as his body succumbs to the effects of the time shift, unable to withstand the abrupt temporal displacement. From a distance, Olivia witnesses the horrifying disintegration of the police officer and quickly gathers her team at the scene. It becomes clear to them that all the strange events in the town are originating from this house. Determined to stop the disruptions, they prepare to enter. Inside, Raymond spots the police through the window and realizes he's running out of time. Panicked, he rushes to the basement to try and shut down the time machine. However, the machine isn't fully perfected. Raymond knows that if he stops it mid-cycle, it could destabilize the fabric of space-time entirely, risking the destruction of the universe. The machine, built using Kate's old formula, has a critical flaw. While it can be started, there is no safe way to manually shut it down. It is designed to run for exactly 47 minutes before switching off automatically. Raymond is trapped by his own creation. Desperate to avoid being caught, Raymond comes up with a dangerous plan to make the time travel permanent. By doing so, he could anchor the house permanently in 2018, allowing him to stay with the version of Kate who still remembers him. With no other options, Raymond turns to the past version of Kate for help. He finds her upstairs, engrossed in her work, and takes her to the basement. Kate is stunned to see the fully operational time time machine, built using her own incomplete formula. Raymond confesses everything, explaining that he is her husband from 3 years in the future, that she will lose her memories due to Alzheimer's, and that he created the machine to keep them together. He pleads for her help in stabilizing the machine so they can make the time jump permanent. Past Kate, however, reacts with alarm. She warns Raymond that he should never have created the machine in the first place. She explains that repeated tampering with time risks tearing the fabric of space-time irreparably. If that happens, it wouldn't just destroy their house or the town, it could obliterate the entire universe, causing existence itself to unravel. Raymond, filled with emotion, tells Kate how much she has changed his life and how deeply he loves her. He confesses that he built the time machine because he couldn't bear to see her condition in the future. Kate, taken aback, demands to know what he means. Raymond reluctantly reveals that she will be diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, a condition that will slowly strip her of her memories and identity. Though shaken by the revelation, Kate remains resolute. She insists that the machine must be stopped to save the universe, even if it means sacrificing the time they could have together. Meanwhile, Olivia and her team analyze the temporal anomalies surrounding the house and discover a time dome encapsulating it. Olivia ventures inside and begins researching the nature of the glitches. During their investigation, they identify a highly alarming discovery. The next area affected by the time shift is an underwater tunnel, constructed in the past 3 years. If the time glitch causes the tunnel to revert to its state before it was built, it will fill with water, trapping and killing everyone inside. With no time to lose, Olivia dispatches one of the agents to evacuate the tunnel immediately. As people are rushed to safety, the rest of the team focuses on a plan to enter the time dome and stop the machine. Their scientist reveals a prototype magnetic vest designed to neutralize the effects of the time shift, allowing someone to safely navigate the unstable temporal field. Peter volunteers to wear the vest and go inside to stop the time machine. Despite the risks, he suits up and enters the dome. The vest holds up against the temporal distortions, allowing Peter to proceed toward the house. As he pushes forward, the stakes grow higher with every passing second. The safety of the town, and possibly the entire universe, rests on his success. In the basement, Peter discovers the time machine, but before he can act, Raymond strikes him from behind, knocking him unconscious. Kate pleads with Raymond to stop everything, insisting that they can't continue this way, but Raymond refuses, saying he's doing it all for her. Meanwhile, in the underwater tunnel, the time shift begins. The tunnel starts to vanish, and seawater floods in, terrifying everyone inside. Inside the house, Kate and Raymond continue to argue. Kate tells him they can't live inside the time bubble forever. As they argue, Peter regains consciousness and tries to shut down the machine. Kate stops him, warning that shutting it down abruptly could destroy the fabric of space-time. Peter, desperate, tells them about the tunnel and the thousands of lives at risk if the machine isn't stopped soon. Kate offers a solution. She'll adjust the machine to shut it down safely, but only if they agree to release Raymond. This is her condition for saving everyone. Peter relays her terms to the authorities, who agree to release Raymond to save the lives in the tunnel. As the tunnel is about to completely collapse, Kate completes her adjustments, and Raymond shuts down the machine at the perfect moment. The time bubble around the house dissolves, returning it to the present. The tunnel is saved and disaster is averted. However, Kate reverts to her current condition, affected by Alzheimer's. The police move in to destroy the time machine and evacuate the house. As promised, Raymond is released. But as he prepares to leave, he secretly tries to take Kate's notebook containing the time travel formula. To his surprise, he finds that Kate has erased the formula entirely. She left a final message, telling Raymond that it's time to accept reality and move on from the past. With that, the story concludes, leaving Raymond to face his future without the time machine.